toast testing lab. We have taken an oath of solitude until this blight has passed from our lands. And for that reason, we have developed a test that everyone can do at home by testing material that is relatively available for everyone else. Bread. Now, why bread? Bread isn't really a structural material, but it actually is similar to metal in the sense that as you treat it by heating it up, it will become stronger to a point. So the purpose of this lab is to test the structural properties of bread as we heat treat it. So the materials for this lab are obviously bread. This is Freihofer's Italian bread. I believe this is the kind that everyone is using. We have a toaster. We have quarters. This is about $60 worth of quarters, so it's a lot of weight. We have the patent pending, not really, Connects toast testing apparatus, some sandwich bags, Sharpie. We have a caliper, accurate to 0.0001 inches, clipboard, calculator, stopwatch, pencil. This is all kind of basic stuff. And then a laptop for recording all the data. So the first step in this procedure is we need to test just how long we need to put the toast in before it gets toasted too much, and that will be the end. From there we can determine how long to leave the bread in for the other times. We have 5 toast time trials, if you will, where 5 different times, and that will be determined by toasting this until it's done, and from there we can split up that time into 5 separate sections. So if, say, for example, the toast takes 20, if you put the toast in for 20 minutes and then it is way over dark, then what we do is we divide 20 by 5, and so each time, so like you would start with 4 minutes, and then you'd have 8 minutes, 12 minutes, 16 minutes, 20 minutes, and those would be our times. And speaking of that, after we have figured that out, we take our toast and we put it in the toaster for however many minutes that we need to toast it. Then once that's done, we take it out and we put it in our toast testing apparatus, like so. And we gotta make sure that it's roughly even on both sides so that we get a consistent measurement. That's about good. Then we take our quarters and in stacks of 5, we're going to be putting them in here so that it will deflect the toast a little bit. Then we're going to use our calipers, and this is the important part. We need to measure from this bottom edge down here to this top edge here, but we want to be very careful when we do this. We don't want to bump the carriage because that will affect our results and it will not be consistent throughout. So we want to just measure to the very top of that. And then we write our observations on, well, not yet. Then we put in the data in our Excel sheet, which I have on my laptop over here. And we continue this until the bread eventually fails, either by cracking in half or by touching the bottom of the apparatus here. We record our observations about the bread, when we hear it cracking, what happens when it fails, and then we repeat that for each of the times 2 times. So we have 5 different times, and then we're going to have 10 tests altogether. After that, we will put all of the results into an Excel spreadsheet, and make a graph from the data. And I believe we average the two different times together, so we get an accurate graph all the way across. So without further ado, the first thing I'm going to do is test how long it takes for this bread to reach maximum toastage. So I have the dial cranked all the way up, and we're going to put that down. Now, probably should have, there we go. So I'm going to be monitoring this bread as it toasts to see just how long it takes for it to become really, really dark. And then, as mentioned, I'll divide that time by 5, and that will give us the data for how long we should toast each piece of bread for. I'm sure you don't want to watch me toast this bread for however long this is going to take, so I will see you in probably a few minutes. Well, for you it'll be instant, but for me this will probably take a while. So what ended up happening was it toasted for about 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and then it popped up, and the toast wasn't really very dark at all. So I put it back in, let it toast for another 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and that would be roughly, where would that have been? That would have been about, let's see. That would have been about 5 minutes, 20 seconds-ish. But, it was more black, but it was really only black on one side, and the other side was still kind of light, and then on the inside, it was also still very light. So, what I probably should have done was put it back in, but keep flipping it, but I wanted it to be consistent. So what I'm doing now is, I'm going to let it sit in here for probably about 2 minutes, and then I'll pop it up, flip it around, put it back in, and start the timer again. Now this, considering that the timer only goes to 2 minutes and 40 seconds, is better than putting it in and just putting it back down. By flipping it, I ensure that both sides are getting roughly evenly heated. Roughly. So, yeah, it's almost at 2 minutes. When it's at 2 minutes, I'm going to pop it up, quickly turn around, pop it back in. And also make sure I stop the timer so that that's 2 minutes. And there we go. I'll just repeat this until it's finished. Now, you might be able to hear, I actually have a fan. It's about there-ish. It's blowing this way because as I was toasting it, some smoke started coming out of the toaster, and I just wanted to sort of blow it more towards the window so the smoke would go out the window and not into the smoke alarm, or smoke detector, and set off the alarm, which that might happen anyway, but I'd like to avoid it if I can. Oh, forgot it. Oh, well, crap. Forgot I didn't turn the timer back up. Well, yeah. So what you gotta do, or what I have to do rather, is pop it up, and it pops up by turning the dial back down, which is a little dumb, but I mean, what can you do? So you gotta turn the dial back, then pop it down, start the timer again. That's kind of what I have to do, basically. So yeah, I'll keep doing that, and then I'll be back when it's done. So as you can probably see, the toaster is smoking quite a bit. We're coming into 10 minutes now, and the toast is rather black. And I feel like if we go on for any longer, we are definitely going to be setting off the smoke alarm. And also, hold on. Okay, Okay. That is something. So, between 8 minutes and 10 minutes, the difference, I am noticing a bit of difference in terms of darkness, and also, putting a lot of smoke. I'm actually gonna, yeah, I'm not gonna be pulling this out of my hands. I figured this would be a little bit safer. There is some difference between now and 8 minutes, so I feel like this is definitely the maximum, 10 minutes. So 10 minutes, that's 2 minutes each, so that means that we're going to be doing this for 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes, and then finally 10 minutes. And that will be our testing time. So let me get that done over here real quick. Two minutes, 4 minutes, and 10 minutes. And just so you can see what it looks like, I kind of waited for it to stop smoking so much. This is kind of what we're looking at. It's rather dark. With the light, I don't know if you can see, it is kind of light, but the bread itself is kind of deformed a bit. You can see the shape, I think, it's kind of almost wrinkled, I want to say, I don't know. But it's very black. So that's going to be, oh, it sounds rather, so that's figured out. Next step, we're going to be, now we're going to start the actual testing. So, if you can see over here, I've been counting out quarters while waiting for everything to finish. I've got 240 quarters here. That's $60 in quarters. And they're in 5 stacks apiece. So I'm going to put the toast in here for 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes. I'm going to put it in here, start loading it with coins, and taking measurements of the distance between here and here, and also the distance between here and here. I'll average that in the end. I'll write everything down here, record it, and then keep loading it until it eventually fails. And then I'll just repeat that twice for each time. And yeah, I'll be back once I'm actually ready to start doing the testing. Actually, you know what? Wait. Let's put the toast in now, and then when it pops up, then I will show you the procedure. Actually, I could probably move the camera. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Wait just a second. I'm going to move the camera, and then we can continue the testing. So I have this camera set up so that we can see everything a little bit better. I'm going to put this toast down for 2 minutes, and then I'm going to take it out and continue the rest of the testing. So let me just... So while that's toasting, let me go over a little bit of what exactly we're going to do. So I'm going to take one of these stacks of 5 quarters. I got all the quarters laid out in stacks of 5. I'm going to put... drop them. I'm going to put them in this box carefully, like that. And, well, first we're going to put the toast in, but once the toast is in, I'm going to put the quarter there. Then, with my calipers, I can measure from this corner that's closest to me, the distance, and also this corner here, the one that's furthest from me. I can like that. I gotta be very careful when I do this because I don't want to shift the box up, because if I do that, that's going to mess up the results. So once I've done that, I'm going to take the measurements and I'm going to put them into Excel, into my laptop, which is just over there. And once I have the numbers, I'll move on to putting more weight in, and I'm going to continue that up until the point where the toast breaks. And I'll also note when I start seeing some cracks or bending or anything like that. I'll keep track of all that. So we're coming up onto 2 minutes and 2 minutes. Alright. Let me remove that quick. Now we can begin. So I'm going to raise this a little bit and take the toast out. Now another thing to note, very important, we're putting the toast in. I'm sure if you can see that. Make sure that this is in view. So when we're testing, we want to make sure that the toast is going in this way, like this. Oh. I'm going to make sure it's roughly, well, not roughly, but we want to make sure it's basically evenly distributed on both sides. So there's just as much toast on one side as there is on the other side. Then we can continue. So let me back over here. So we're just going to start off with 5/4. And it's already bending. And yeah, it just failed. Now, that might have been due to me messing around with it, as just showing you how it's done. Tell you what, I'm going to do that again, but I'm going to not mess with it. But now you know how the procedure is going to go. Now, I could show you every single one. Well, I might as well show you at least starting and ending, but I'm not going to show you the entire process because that's going to take a long time, especially when I'm putting in 5/4 of the time. So, yeah, so I'll do that. I'll show you me putting the toast in, and then I'll show you, hopefully I can show it failing as well, but we'll see if we can get that. So, yeah, I'll reset this, and then I'll see you in a bit. So here's what the bread looks like after 2 minutes, and actually, it did break pretty much immediately. So I guess the first one, when it broke really quickly. Let me see if I can get a better view. There it is. I guess the first time I did it and it broke wasn't too inaccurate. When I did this already, it broke. It didn't break this soon before, but I guess something must have changed between then and there. But this is a good data either way. So next I'm going to go to the 4 minute. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm supposed to do them 2 times per anyway, so this could just be the second trial. I'm not sure. I wasn't expecting it to break so quickly. I guess what I'll do is I'll test it again and just average the result. It is kind of weird, but I mean, data is data, so yeah, I'll do the 4 minute and then continue. Here is the 4 minute toast after 90/4. Let's bring this up a bit. Actually, let me remove the quarters first. Here it is. It broke like that. This was after 90 quarters. Or was it 95? 95 quarters. This was 95 quarters. Here's the toast after 6 minutes of toasting. This didn't fail until I put 135 quarters on it. There it is. Here's the 8-minute toast. This broke after 205? Yeah, 205 quarters. A few notable things about this one. Oops. All throughout the test, I heard it crackling, and you might notice it didn't really bend. Actually, it's like that. Just sort of broke, but it did hold a lot more than the 6-minute one. And also, if I can get this to focus, it might be hard to see, but oh, there we go. As it toasts, the cross section actually decreases. You'll see there's a flat bit here, and then it dips down, and then it goes back up. So really, it was only being supported by these two ends here, and even with that small cross section, it still withstood more weight than the rest of them have. Next is the 10-minute, but a few people have been complaining about the smoke, so I'm going to be moving the toaster outside where I will bother less people with the smoke. So a few complications have come up. I've had to move outside due to the smoke. Now, everything was going fine until 10 minutes. The toast popped up and out, down onto the ground down here. So what I'm going to have to end up doing, probably, to keep the toast from popping out, I'm going to have to place this over top just before I take it out. I'm not going to leave it on top, just in case. I don't want to damage anything. But before it pops up, I'm going to have to put the plate over top of it to stop it from popping out. And then everything should be fine. Oh, and also, I don't know if you can hear, but it's currently raining, so I have an umbrella just to protect the toaster from any from any rain from dropping into it. Yeah, but aside from that, things are going smoothly. So apparently, putting the plate over top just is causing more problems. Now the toast is actually cracked, possibly as a result of multiple things, but I'm assuming the culprit is the plate. Smacking the plate and causing it to break way too early. So I'm going to have to try a third time, hopefully third time's the charm, and then we can finally test the 10-minute toast. So a new plan. I'm going to cover it with this paper plate instead of the ceramic one so that it doesn't break. I'm just trying to catch the bread so it doesn't fly out and shatter onto the ground while also not shattering the bread. In the end, I'm just trying to prevent the bread from shattering. So, yeah. It's not an ideal setup, but these are not ideal situations. So, we gotta do what we must. So I'll check back in 10 minutes when the toast has finished toasting. We're getting close to the 10-minute mark, and maybe now you can see exactly why it was decided that this should be taken outside. Okay, this puts off quite a bit of smoke. I would show you me taking it out of the toaster, but I have to hold this umbrella and do everything else, and I really can't hold the camera, so I'll meet you back inside once I'm done toasting the toast. I'm not entirely sure what's changed between the last time I tried toasting it for 10 minutes and this time, but this toast gets considerably, well, I'm not entirely sure what to do about this because before, this is what 10 minutes looked like before, and now this is 10 minutes, so I'm not entirely sure what to do at this point. I would test this, but there's really not much left to test. But I need 5 data points, and this has already been toasted hours ago, so can't use that. It's weird though, because I'm sure that this was only toasted for 8 minutes, and it looks like this, which is it's a little bit lighter than this was. So I don't know what the cause is for the difference. I'm gonna need to figure something out.